Hey, it's August the 5th, 2024. I am Actual Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. It's our monthly Monday takeover edition, so clearly someone has to show up a day early for their own show. The Big Z is
not
here.
Beyond the Bell?
No.
It's not Beyond the Bell?
It's not Beyond the Bell. I'm sorry. You're early.
I had a whole bit and everything. I'm early. I'm 24 hours early here, guys.
Wait, hold
Jeremy.
on. Did somebody...
Jeremy.
Wait.
Andrew Zarian.
I love you.
Nice eyebrows.
Thank you.
Love you too.
Hold on. What was that on your shoulder? Are you a dignitary in talks with AEW about bringing a major stadium show to Long Island?
We don't have any stadiums on Long Island, unfortunately.
MJF
we have Coliseums. We have a Coliseum and we have an arena, but unfortunately, when the Jets, we don't have a football team here.
Yeah, but y'all have like 5 others.
I want a football team. I don't want the Buffalo Bills to be my only New York team. Okay, the Jets need to go to Long Island. It has to happen.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not listening.
Do you really want the Jets though? Do you really want them?
No, you know what it is? I know the Giants won't come here. Won't go to Long Island because they have such a different base, but they're tremendous Jets. If you live in Long Island, so here's how it's set up, right? Long Island, Mets, Jets. Mets, Jets, Islanders. The 5 boroughs, it's kind of mixed like Queens where I'm because it's Queens. It's a little split, but the Bronx is all Yankee fans. Brooklyn, all Yankee fans. Manhattan, all Yankee fans. Put them in Queens. You know what? I'll take the Jets here. They played here for a long time. They played at Shea Stadium for a long time.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm getting really worked up now.
Look at them now. Where else could you play football in New York if not at MetLife?
Nowhere.
Exactly. So Go under the bridge, cross the river, whatever you need to do, and go watch your football there.
I hate it. That's why I don't go to any football games. I hate that building. It's disgusting. It's in the middle of swamps. Try to get out of there during WrestleMania, see what happens.
Heard too many stories. I think
terrible.
I'm okay.
Brian Alvarez was stuck in the marsh. It took him 8 hours to get home.
He just became a marshman for that 8 hours. They called him Brian Marshman.
Oh my God!
How are you doing, Arian?
I'm doing good.
We always want you here.
It's been so busy, man. It's been so busy. I'm hoping things kind of settle down and I could do more stuff. It's been knock on wood, been good busy, but it's been busy.
Yeah, this is the season. The summer's gonna start, coming to be done. And then
and all my sources return from vacation.
That's right. And then the news starts to churn. And then
all of a sudden, Andrew Zarian's posting again.
Yeah, the weird 3 a.m. text messages start coming. Hey, did you hear? I heard snoring. What do you want? You don't sleep anymore. What's wrong with you?
No, I'm up all hours of the day. It's something. It's something. That show on Saturday, I don't know how I feel.
Well, that's not good. You got to have a strong opinion so people can yell.
So you were there, right, Jeremy? You were there, okay? I'm going to. I can't articulate it the way I want to. Okay. When we were at that SummerSlam in 2021, right? I kept saying this feels like whatever Vince wanted sports entertainment to be. Okay, this was it.
Well, hold on.
This show.
He didn't want the masks, but that's another topic of conversation.
That's a whole different topic. This is now, it's finally, Vince had to leave for it to kind of transcend into the thing that he always wanted, where it's a show. It's not a wrestling show. It's a show. You got Jelly Roll starting it. You get some matches. The matches, it's a whole different feel watching those matches. Like it's, that main event was every big time WWE main event. 500 run-ins, the entrance music that gets the biggest pop and not the match. And I'm not complaining. It was a fun show. I enjoyed watching it. I was talking to a wrestler last night, okay? And they said, "What are you complaining about? This is what got you into wrestling." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It's 1990 all over again. It's 89, it's 88. It's cartoon characters and the spectacle of it all, and not the wrestling." You know what? And that's what it was. It was angles. It was, decent matches. Everything was good. Nothing was, you're not getting a Canadian destroyer off the top rope into the tables. You're getting everything was just
And
fine.
no tables. Fuck those fans chanting, "We want tables."
Yeah, no tables. My kids loved it. My kids loved it. And that's great. And that's what matters because that's what they're building for. But it just felt so different. Like it's going to sound so stupid to say this, okay? And it's not a negative, but it feels too big. Too big.
Wow, look at this guy complaining about pro wrestling and wrestling being hotter than ever, and it's too big. Andrew Zarian wants his niche sport back. Wow.
Listen, that's fine. And listen, it is great that we have two very defined products, or three defined, or five defined, whatever. Very different. Wrestling can be very different. It's on a spectrum, which is great. It's a WWE has become the mainstream television production. That is what they've always wanted to be, and that's great. That Cody entrance was fantastic. I loved every bit of it. It was shot so well. The 8K depth shots when they're announcing, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley for the time. I mean, it feels so big and looks beautiful. It is totally transcended. Like, you can't compare AEW and WWE at this point. It is totally two different things. And that's a good thing. I think that's good. It's definition. You don't want AEW to be that. You don't want NXT to be that. It is so different, that product.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Yes. We have that side chat. And Joel, I saw that smirk. I saw that lip go up. Okay? Just a fraction.
It's amazing the things you don't say when you want to say them. A little.
Yeah.
We're cordial here. We do things professionally.
We're very cordial. I'm not complaining.
Make our inside
this is
jokes
not a
in our
complaint.
group chat. That's all.
I know. I love our boys chat. I love it. I'm not complaining, but it was interesting to see people's reaction online. And that was the most fascinating part. Like, the show, it was nice and quick. It didn't feel super long. My kids stayed up for the whole thing. They ate everything up. My son was so invested in Roman returning, the LA Knight match, everything. They loved everything. But you go online and people are just melting down on either side. Either it was the greatest show ever put on, or it was abysmally disgusting and wrestling is dying. And I'm like, guys,
it's not. First of all, it's not for them.
Then it's not for you.
Well, not just that. Like, the presentation as it is, like everything you just said, that your kids loved every minute, they ate everything up. Guess what? Wrestling is for them. Wrestling is for that.
Yeah, well, that's what that wrestler said to me, and I don't want to name names, but he goes, "What made you get into wrestling?" And I said, "Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior." He goes, "Yeah, exactly what they're doing today. It is exactly the same pattern. We are in that peak cartoon boom. That's where they are, and it's bigger than ever. It's better than ever. I can't argue with that. That's exactly what it was. That's what got us into it. We had a very unique small time that somebody warded into Vince's mind to tell him, "Hey, you should be a little bit more adult, and this shouldn't be only for kids." And he got convinced of it for a very short period of time. And then they've reverted back. And that's fine.
Brian Gewirtz did a bunch of interviews after WrestleMania, but one thing that he said that kind of like stuck with me was wrestling, when it was at its hottest, at its peak and everything, had very defined and impressionable characters. And what he meant by that was like, you knew Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do, vitamins, prayers, Macho Man Randy said, you knew how he dressed, the look, the
lines, whatever he said.
Yeah. Steve Austin, same thing. You knew the mannerisms, you knew how he dressed, you knew what he said. Rock, same thing. Like, you had guys who maybe were relatable on some level, but were also so over the top, but you could go out and they were very defined and you could impersonate them and like people would get it. And he said WWE was lacking that for a while, but they have refound that. And I know people might not like the Yaz and the Yeets and all this stuff, or but Roman throws the one up. Everyone knows what the hell that means. Like, everyone knows everyone knows the Yeet. Like,
everyone does the ooh-ah when he throws a spear. Like, it's all brandable.
Dude, I went to a wedding where the groomsmen came out to Roman's theme. And these are not people that go on Twitter and they go, Roman Reigns is going to come back. I have the shorts. No, these are normal, casual watchers, but they freaking love it. It's transcended into mainstream.
I also know somebody who used a wrestler's theme to come out at their wedding.
Yeah, me. John
That's
Cena,
right.
the GOAT.
You did? What did you come out to?
I came out to John Cena's theme.
I would have come out to Linda McMahon's WrestleMania theme. That's what I would have come out
to.
You would have done the dance too.
I would have done the dance.
It would have been
the John Cena's theme. I was ready to run. I was ready to run to the table, and the wife was like, "Absolutely not." But I
gotta tell you, it was a good show. Was it a great show? No, but it doesn't need to be. It was a really fun show. That's how I'm describing the show. It was a really fun show. I don't care about... Listen, my kids don't give a shit about star ratings. And I love Dave.
No, they shouldn't.
And he says it too. You know what? And that's the most important thing. Did the kids enjoy... And I'm saying as WWE, right? I am the WWE. I see children enjoying it. Did the kids like it? Yes, they loved it. Is my kid buying WWE merch now? Going to WWE shop and buying it? By the way, I just bought that Mets title belt from WWE for a friend's birthday.
I just
spent $600 on that Fakakta thing.
That sounds terrible.
Okay? Because I got to give Uncle Bob his present because he's a huge Mets fan.
Yeah, okay, no, he's special.
It's for Uncle Bob. I got to give it to Uncle Bob.
All right, fair.
So my kids are getting that. My son wanted a Cody shirt. My daughter loves Liv Morgan. This is a positive. And it's not just my kids. It's a lot of people's kids. And why are they into it? Because it's the same reason we got into it. They're giant cartoons of human people. Human beings.
They're the same.
Human people. Great song, Human Nature by Michael Jackson. My favorite song by the way.
I love playing that on the boats. That was fun.
What a great song.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard Creep by Smashing Pumpkins?
Go away. Stop it. Go home.
Billy the Pumpkin Smasher. He's a Nosferatu.
He was in Montreal this past weekend playing at the Osheaga Festival. On the same bill.
In the daylight?
Yeah. He played on the same bill as Green Day. Guess who had higher billing?
Yeah, they're doing they're at City Field, I think, this week. I think tomorrow.
That makes sense. Going from Montreal to New York. That makes
Maybe I'll stop by and say hello to Billy. I'll ask him about that cocaine spot.
No, everyone has.
Yeah, we've asked him about that.
We've asked wrestlers. We've asked Billy. We've asked everyone. Billy's been asked about it 100 times.
Guys, I want to stay here and do the show. I have to leave.
No, you don't.
I only have 15 minutes.
We appreciate you joining us.
We always do.
All right, sorry. I was a day early for my show.
Yep.
And I had to call in.
Are y'all back tomorrow?
We are back.
My wife messaged while you were on here, and she just said, "What is Zarian not like?" I tuned in like a minute late, and I just said wrestling, and she's like, "Oh, fair, good."
I think I like wrestling too much because I could justify like people not liking it. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but don't. I hate that this is awesome, chant. I don't like it. That I hate.
I hate
you still got it. I hate that you still got it. I hate that. One deep arm drag. You still got it. One deep arm drag.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
You know, you do one of these. You still got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here.
Bye,
Adios.
Zarian.
Take
Love
care,
you,
buddy.
Kisses.
There we go, Andrew Zarian. Hey, by the way, we're 15 minutes in and I haven't said it yet, but leave a thumbs up on the video. If nothing else, do it for Andrew Zarian. Do it for Papa Z. He takes you from A to Z every Tuesday on Beyond the Bell. Him and Rich. They do that.
We're on the main channel today. I forgot about that.
It is. It's main channel Monday. So while you're at it, you can subscribe to Fightful and to our sister channel, Fightful Overbooked, where you'll normally find myself and Jeremy Lambert in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. Eastern until about noon, 12:30. Listen, it depends how we feel. Some days we're like, let's go long. And other days we're like, no, we're done here. And then we just cut it off. Those days happen. But also we have fun here. That's what this show is. Why do we do main channel Mondays? It's because there's like...
We sold out.
There's a big jump between the subscribership between Overbooked and the main. So they were like, hey, let's get this going. So here we are, the first Monday of every month. We take over, we do this show on this channel, and we love to have y'all. And then people chant, you still got it, because we are also sellouts and justified. This is awesome chance for Zari and come to the chat. That's why we do it. But we do it for you. So go ahead. Do it for us. Donate a super chat. Any man get your question or statement around on the air. You could do it just like Kim Gray did. Our pal Kim saying, I was at the Kenny Chesney concert during SummerSlam on Saturday night, checking on the results and tearing up over L.A. Knight. He did it. Second best interview I ever did. LA Knight had a match against himself and won the US championship. Good for him. Very proud of LA Knight. We can dig into this show. SummerSlam. I think Zarian had a very interesting point.
He hates wrestling.
He hates wrestling. That's fine. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was the best show ever, but I also was just like, I had fun. I had fun watching it. You were in the crowd for the show. You watched it live and in person. I'm sure the vibes were very different than, sitting at home, having an ice cream sandwich and watching Roman Reigns make his return. But let's talk about the whole show, because there is enough to talk about, good and not so good. There's some booking stuff that I didn't love. There's some moments that I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So where should we start? I mean,
let's start, Joel. Let's start with my adventure at Cleveland Browns Stadium, first off. So we got tickets for section 351, which is, kind of middle section. It's a mezzanine section, whatever. We're going to our seats and everything. And the lady's like, this section has been closed off for TV production. It was a tarped area on the side. There had no TV production. It probably only sold like 5 tickets. And then they were just like, nah, never mind. We need to fill in other areas of the stadium. So she's like, this section has been closed off for TV section. She says, can I interest you in another ticket? The wife and I are like, yeah, I would hope so. I would hope we would get different tickets.
Sorry, get out.
Yeah. Sorry, closed for TV section. You got to get out of here. So we ended up going from section 351 to section 118. So we got a pretty good upgrade on our seats, which was nice. So that's where we ended up sitting. That's really the only adventure at Cleveland Browns Stadium. It's a halfway decent stadium, I guess. I don't go to many football stadiums. The only one I've been to the Bengals Stadium, which is fine, and the Panthers Stadium, which sucks. So the Browns Stadium might be in between those two. So we ended up section.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say where in relation to everything going on, where was that section, the new one?
We were behind the announce table. Obviously there's floor seating, and then there's upwards in the 100 section. We were there, and we were like row 4, so we were pretty pretty decent seats. But like,
that's good.
There's stadium shows just kind of suck, because you're watching the screen the whole time. You can't really see the ring. Like, you're so far away from the ring that you can't really tell what's going on in there. You can see some stuff. Like, we couldn't see any of the entrances, and they sometimes would post the entrance on the screen, but then they would post like the first portion of the entrance and then go back to, the logo stuff. So we couldn't see a lot of that. Like when Roman comes out, they showed him on the screen for like 2 seconds. So like, he got that pop, you see, like he walks out, and then there's a delay on the pop, because when he finally gets to sort of past the lighting and the rigging and everything, Then they show them on the big screen, and then everybody sees them on the big screen, so they pop, but then they take them away. So we just stop popping and everything. So the stadium shows are just, they're not that great because you can't really see a whole lot, depending on where you're at. I know there's good sections and you can see more, but you're so far away from the ring for the most part that it's just tough to see a lot. But the atmosphere is very fun. The atmosphere is very fun at these shows. It was my second stadium show ever. I went to WrestleMania 30, so it's been over a decade since I've done a stadium show. It was the first stadium show for the wife. You know, we're used to the arena stuff, but overall, it was a good time. The pre-show, I don't know if they got to do something with these at home. Like, I feel like it's fine because you can just watch it or not watch it. You can watch Collision, I guess, if you want. But like in the stadium, you're just like sitting there. There's nothing going on. They don't even put the pre-show on the screen. You're just sitting there watching them like set up for Jelly Roll. And now here comes Michael Cole, and here comes Corey Graves, and here comes Pat McAfee. And that's it. But there's just nothing happening during the pre-show for this.
That's wild. I mean, I feel like I knew that because at Money in the Bank, it was similar, but now you're introducing a third hour to the post show, and it's like you're not showing anything on the screen. Maybe they're running like the ads, but even then, it's like
they're no, they're not even doing that. They're not running anything. Like, you're just sitting there. There's a DJ. There's somebody just playing music, and like you could barely hear the music.
Vlad Khan was back, was he?
I have no idea who the DJ was.
They keep bringing the same guy back since 2021, and I think he's either related to or has the same last name as Nick.
Yeah, I think that's his name, Vlad Khan. I don't know if there's any relation there, but
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he's just playing like some wrestling themes, and then he'll throw in some Limp Bizkit, and then he'll ruin some songs, and it's just like, well, you could barely hear it. Like, it's so low. It doesn't feel like it's over like the big stadium speakers.
Yeah, I guess because it's a stadium show, they're just not pumping it through everything. That's crazy.
Like, the pre-show is just like, you're just sitting there the whole time, and it's just like, all right, like, it would be nice if they at least showed the pre-show on the screen. At least then you're not just like doing nothing while you're waiting for the show to start.
They're not doing anything in the stadium during the pre-show either. Like, they're not doing any interviews or like sending it to, because I know like in the arena shows when I would go, this is like 2-3 years ago, they would still do a pre-show. And this is, by the way, I loved when the pre-show used to be that they would be staggered by a half hour. So basically, if the pre-show started at 7, they had started filming at 6:30. So like once doors open. So what you saw was a half hour behind. And then the arena would fill in, they'd catch up, and then they do like live stuff in the arena, not on the concourse, but like in the arena. They'd have the table set up and all that. And then they would throw to somebody in the ring or on the stage, and they would do an interview. Like when the pre-show was more interactive in the arena, that was cool. But I also I don't mind the idea of using more spaces to kind of amplify the reach that WWE or even AEW has during a pre-show environment. They've got the whole stadium, they've got the whole arena. Why not use the concourse? Why not use
they have the pre-show set up like on the concourse or whatever. Like, we walked right by it. You can chill there if you want.
Yeah, it's the same thing in most of the shows now, but I'm saying it used to be, you remember this, it used to be a bunch of tables facing out, the cameras would face the ring, and the table would be, backs to the ring. But then they realized, we can put more chairs there, so they got rid of that. And they used to they'd have to cover it up. I think it just made more work than they really wanted to do, which kind of get it. And then at that point they were like, well, instead we can put that table there, and then we only use it at the top and the bottom of the show, and otherwise it's fine. So I kind of understand what they're doing, but also I agree they should have something in
just
the
air the pre-show. Just air the pre-show on the giant screens in the stadium, so then we can get hyped. And, we can watch all the hype videos. We can see the interviews. We can hear the analysis from Big E and whoever else is on there. Just give us something to where we hear something. Just give us something. Because otherwise, we're getting this, hey, listen to this terrible music that this guy's playing.
He's not talking about Jelly Roll. Jeremy actually really enjoyed Jelly Roll.
You know what? Jelly Roll is not bad. I've legitimately never heard a song by him, except he's featured on one of the Eminem songs on the new album. He does a good job on that song. That Liar song kind of bangs, not gonna lie. It's not bad.
Triple H said the same thing. So you and Hunter are on the same page.
It's not bad. I did love, by the way, 15 minutes. The show starts at 7, right? 15 minutes before the first like strike was thrown. Love it. The bell rang between Liv and Rhea, but then they did the run around the ring nonsense. 15 minutes before an actual like wrestling move. Show started at 7. My kind of show right there. Because we had to do Triple H, get his big thank you. Look at me. I'm Paul and everyone loves me. And then we had the Jelly Roll concert and then the video packages and the entrances and then the run around 15 minutes. So I cackled. I was like, look at this nonsense. Rules.
But now we got to talk about the show itself. I don't know how much of the replay you watched with commentary or anything like that.
I watched like highlight stuff, but otherwise really nothing. I don't care about commentary.
I'm the same way. I go back and I just kind of breeze through what I need to see because otherwise I saw it already. It's like watching a TNA show that I've already watched. I watched the tapings, so now I got to watch the live show. Anyway, let's just start, I guess, with Liv and Rhea because that was the top of the show, and like you said, a long time until they threw a punch. But the match itself, it was fine. I'm not going to give you the match by match, but really the story beat here was that Dom ends up ultimately siding with Liv.
Dom is a bitch. My wife wants it known. Dominic Mysterio, bitch.
I mean,
his commentary on this.
His dad effectively said the same thing.
Match was good. One complaint. This is not the fault of this match. This actually worked for this match. Every match after this, they did this stupid shoulder into the ring post spot. I was like, you guys are killing the aesthetic of the first match here.
There was a big lack of communication throughout the entire show when it came to what one match is doing, what other match is doing. There was a lot of that. There felt the ring post was another one. The interference was another big one.
Well, the interference was just.
But that's the thing. If you know that you're building to Roman coming back as your interference is like your major angle, the Bloodline rules match. Really, it's been established. If you do Bloodline rules, it's not just that it's no disqualification and all that stuff. It's that anything goes, anyone can show up. And that's kind of that should be how we promote Bloodline rules moving forward. It's that anything can happen and anybody can show up. If you're doing that, you should probably leave the run-ins and the interference spots out of most of the matches because the other ones had a lot of that. And it, to me, took away part of the fun of the entirety of the show. And I get it. People are like, well, but the run-ins and the pops and I get it. But like the storytelling wise and the cohesiveness, this is why on Friday, when you and I were going down the card and kind of talking about how things could or should play out, that's why I was leaving a lot of this stuff off the table for SummerSlam and being like, do it on Raw the next night, pop a rating, do this. I understand they're on Sci-Fi tonight. So that probably plays into why they won't have a major angle culminate or at least keep moving on Raw and instead play it off on the pay-per-view. But there was a lot of the same in each match, and that kind of bugged me a bit.
The interference stuff I didn't mind as much because I partially expected it with a lot of these matches. And look, it's all about the story of the interference and everything. Like if it makes sense, it's fine. For the most part, a lot of this did make sense, or it made sense for where they wanted to go, even if I'm not the biggest fan of it. The shoulder spot is something that, like, it wasn't just me who notices. There was people in my section who were like, didn't we just see this? Like, oh, look, they're doing another shoulder into the ring post spot. Like, there were multiple people in my section who I could overhear talking about this. Again, the Rhea stuff, it made sense because she was coming off the shoulder injury. And then her popping it back into place by running herself into the table and then the corner and everything. Like, okay, fine. But then to do it in basically every match afterwards, like, all right, what are we doing here?
We're getting over. But then every match is also trying to do it. So yeah, Liv retains her title. Dominic does end up with Liv Morgan. This was the problem that I had with the finish, or at least the aftermath. They made Rhea look like a love-struck idiot, and I don't like that. They kind of did. She's been attached to him since he came back, since he told off Liv. She's been attached to him. She loves him. Now she's more affectionate with him. Now maybe she's seen the ways that Dominic has been a good boyfriend or something. Meanwhile, I'm like, well, you never called her while she was out. You didn't keep up with her. And then Liv was coming onto him week after week on TV. And then when you came back, you didn't trust Dom. You were playing it up. And then Dom says a bunch of mean things on a microphone to Liv. Mean things, because obviously this was all constructed by Dom and Liv in the storyline. And now you're like, you lick his face, you kiss him, you write him love notes that Michael Cole reads on the air through social media. You come out with him and you're like so happy to be with him. And then he does the thing he does to you, costs you the match, and you're more upset and looking more dejected than you are annoyed or angry that he did this to you.
She's looking at them making out and she's like, you guys are fucked. She mouthed that. Like, I saw that on the big screen. So I know I didn't get the impression that she was like hurt or whatever. I mean, yes, hurt, but like I got the impression that, oh, you guys just screwed up and I'm going to murder both of you. That's how it looked to me.
The way it looked to me was she looked dejected. She looked like she had been cheated on. And to me, again, tonight it could play out very differently, and everything you said that she said on the show could absolutely play out. I saw that she's changed her socials and everything. She could be absolutely dark brooding and gonna just throw shit, which honestly she probably could have, and that would have been fun too. But you had a whole show to get through. So this is a story. I don't hate it. I just don't like that it felt like the presentation was going there.
But can't she have a level of hurt? Because this is someone who, okay, whatever you think of their relationship, they are clearly very good friends, if nothing else. And her friend has now turned on her to side with this person. Like, there's going to be some hurt there, even if they're not in love. Like, there's going to be some hurt. And I think she sold that well. But then, yeah, I saw her like getting angry eyes. And you can watch the replay. She's like, you're fucked. And I think she's going to murder these people. But I thought she sold it very well. I was fine with it.
The way it looked to me was that she had a sudden love for Dominic that she didn't. When she came back and when everything happened, she was upset. And then a week later, she was fine. You know, that was where, and that part was, that was one beat where I was like, okay, what are we doing? And I mentioned it on the show. I said, I hope they're not going to turn her into, you know, a bit lovesick. And then when she gets turned on, she gets upset and doesn't see it coming, when really she did see it coming. And then she was reassured it wasn't, and she was lulled into a false sense of security when that hasn't been her character for so long. She has been that type of person who can like go and see through the bullshit. And this time she didn't. She got. And if that turns into spiteful and hatred filled Rhea and she runs through everyone, fine by me. Go for it.
Okay. I thought it came off well.
Fair. Again, I was watching it, and hey, that's why it is. People saying, so Joel's wrong. Joel's never wrong.
Yeah, Joel's wrong.
Never. I haven't been wrong once in my life. I've got a child trying to come into my room.
Kick him.
I should just get a fridge door. What are we doing next? Do you want to, I mean, there were a bunch of title changes on the show as well.
Yeah, Braun beat Sammy. That was pretty expected.
A very quick match, no less.
Yeah. That was the one match that didn't have any interference. That was a pretty straightforward wrestling match, as quick as it was. Good call.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, Braun's the dude, man. And he's going to now carry this title. We'll see what happens with Sammy moving forward. But Braun, they're going full bore with him. I don't blame him. That dude rules. I'm guessing you didn't get to another Sami Zayn comedy show? No. Didn't get to the Sami Zayn show. I heard about it though. It seemed like it was good. Sort of a repeat. Obviously different guests than the ones we saw in Toronto, but I think we have better guests. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, listen, love Cody Rhodes and Bayley. Yeah. I mean, Indy Hartwell rapping John Cena's lyrics. That's cool. That's fine. But we had Bayley, we had Cody, we had a different show. Yeah. Did you go to any of the other shows or anything like that? Like you can go to SmackDown. I didn't go to SmackDown. No. I tried. I'm sorry, buddy. No, it's fine. I didn't miss a whole lot. I watched the show and it was a show. But the tag titles changed hands. Yeah. There was that. So whatever. A whole bunch of title changes over the week, including the world tag the world tag team titles on SmackDown. We'll get to that when we get to the main event because that plays into some thoughts. So Sami Zayn drops the title. Sami Zayn can now move on to do
who knows what, maybe be Gunther's first challenger, or at least one of his early challengers for the world title. Sammy wants one. He and Gunther have had a very good match before, a great match, and a great feud before. So let's go. Y'all stop telling me I was wrong. I'm never wrong. Stupid chat. You guys suck.
I like the hashtag Joel is wrong.
What is this? It just looks like two L's.
Let's get that trending, everybody.
Stop it. They'll think it's another Joel. It's okay. Right? They'll think it's another Joel?
Nah, I don't know.
How many Joels do you really know? They'll think it's Billy Joel is wrong. I'll tell them that Billy Joel was wrong.
Hashtag Joel is wrong.
Damn it. Okay, what's next? What are we talking about? Women's Championship, or do you want to go the US? Hashtag Fridge Door is the right one, by the way.
I don't have Nia Jax winning was sort of predictable, I guess. I thought we were going to get hashtag Bow Down, the real queen, returning here. I don't know if she's not cleared, which maybe that is the case, but I thought even if she's not cleared, she just comes out and then she doesn't have to wrestle immediately or anything. Just do the return to do the return. But we did not get the real queen. I was very sad. I was like anticipating and holding on. I was ready to pop so much for hashtag Bow Down, and then didn't happen. It was a fine match. Like the crowd wasn't super into it until the powerbomb spot, and then everyone kind of rose after that. And then I thought the finish was good. It made Bayley look pretty strong. Now Nia's the champion, so it's just fine.
We talked about it on Friday, and going back to your Charlotte return idea, I didn't think that we were going to see any returns other than Roman. I thought Roman was going to be the one that was the one thing that they were going to save the big moment for, right? The return of Roman Reigns. Everyone else, it was just kind of like, again, the interference stuff, the ring post stuff, not, separate but different. They wanted to keep the Roman Reigns return, someone coming back, that be the big moment, and they did that. I didn't expect Nia Jax to win. I really thought that we were going to get a little bit more Bayley run. I understand for some people they've said that they're not super into Bayley's reign. Maybe that her chase is better than her championships. Okay, that's fair. Nia as a champion, though, that's a pretty dominant move. What do you do with Tiffany Stratton in the meantime? I thought maybe if Nia lost, they would just make a tag team, Tiffany and Nia, let them. They did it at the press conference. Nia said, I'm taking Tiffany under my wing. I thought that they were going to turn that into a women's tag title run, and then eventually they still might. I don't love having the women's tag titles and the women's championship in a feud, or at least on one person. That gets annoying to me. But regardless, it's nice to see that they're going to work together until they don't work together, and then I assume one's just going to turn babyface, and who that is, I don't know. Is it Nia bullying Tiffany until she's had enough and she cashes in? Is it Nia loses the title and then Tiffany kind of saves her by taking back the title so that it's in the team and then the two can feud? Like where does that story go? And where does Bayley go from here as well? Because she lost the title. Does she have a claim to go back for it because Tiffany got involved?
I think they've got options with Nia and Tiffany. I think it's too early to really prognosticate where they might go with everything. I think Bayley probably does a rematch just because right now everyone else is tied up in something else. You still got to do Bianca, Jade, Naomi against now Blair, Isla, and Alba. So that's going to run for a little while. I don't know who else, if there's any other women on SmackDown that Mia Yim, Michin can get back involved with Bayley. They can do some tag team matches like they've been doing. But I think we'll see a little bit of a run with Nia, and then how they play out the Tiffany thing might just depend on how the crowd is sort of reacting to everything.
Bayley did say in an interview during SummerSlam week, when asked about the mid-card title idea, and she kind of said, well, she can kind of say, she said she'd rather that the women's tag titles get a shine and get emphasis first. Maybe that's where she is hinting she wants to go next, is give some credibility to those tag titles, which she did before, and now she could do it again.
I love Bayley. I love her ambition to make those titles mean something, but
her last tag team partner tried to as well.
They always try to. I mean, Bayley and Mercedes are the reason these titles exist. And like they try every single time, and then they just they end up what they end up being.
You just can't take away from Bliss Cross applesauce. That was it. That was the team. That was it. LA Knight won the US title. Very happy for him. I'm also really happy that the US title is now going to be featured more prominently on the television program, and that the mid-card kind of jumble can start moving into US title feuds. LA Knight versus Santos Escobar is something you can easily go to. LA Knight, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin. I know that there's a lot of names here that people are going to kind of groan at, but at least having a mid-card title to feud over is a much better scenario than what we've had for the last little while. So looking forward to LA Knight carrying that US championship.
I wish he punched Machine Gun Kelly.
Should have. Why did Machine Gun Kelly rip off the hoodie that's a zip hoodie? What did he look? Did you see this? He's like, they do the reveal and he rips the hoodie. I'm like, what are you doing? There's a zipper on that thing. Just zip it.
I didn't know if they were like friends or what, because they're like face to face and it looked like Machine Gun Kelly was upset. And then of course they were friends. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
All I can say is all that hype for Mr. Cleveland, and here we are.
I mean, that also makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Shouldn't have done that. He's just a boy. LA Knight looking forward to his title reign. And then we get to Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. Seth Rollins is a special guest referee. Seth freaking Rollins. I got to get it right. Otherwise, Chris Legento calls me and tells me that I did my job wrong. Sorry, I had to go there. This match, to me, was a lot of fun. They did pieces of that SummerSlam match that we talked about, but they didn't do the finish. They did it differently. They did it their way, and I like it. You had Punk wearing the pink and black attack. You had Drew McIntyre come out in the long duster, which he always does, but it has a little bit more spiky to it, and that was more Undertaker callback. And then you had Rollins come out in his fashion, but the sleeveless referee shirt, just like Shawn Michaels did in that match. I like there were callbacks. I didn't love that if you watched on commentary, they kept making references to callbacks. That annoyed me because I don't need to be told when a callback is happening. I'd rather just reward me for knowing the history. And also it wasn't working as much. And then, bring up Brian Lambert's comments. Seth borrowing Deonna Purrazzo. Easy for me to say. Borrowing Deonna Purrazzo's pants for this event. I'm glad that they did that. Shout out to Deonna giving her pants up for Seth freaking Rollins. Match was good. And it happened the way we said it would almost. Drew McIntyre gets the victory. CM Punk's hubris gets the best of him. And we all just need a friendship bracelet to make ourselves happy again.
I've seen a lot of discourse about this match.
Well, not everyone. Wrestling fans very famously do not have friends. And this is funny because whatever you're about to say needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because you are a Swiftie, a very, very big Swiftie. And what do Swifties do?
Love our friendship bracelets.
Love them to death. So before you say whatever you say, I want people to remember that this man loves love and he loves friendship bracelets.
Factual. Very factual. I got to put over the best worker in this match, which was the friendship bracelet, because that thing did not break. It did not bust. It held strong the entire time. It went through multiple, places of where it was going. It was on the ground. It was on multiple wrists. It had to survive strikes and moves. Held strong. The best worker in this match was the friendship bracelet. The crowd really enjoyed this match. I don't know how it came across on television, but the crowd was into this match. And then the bracelet stuff kind of happened. And I don't know if they lost the crowd a little bit, but it became a weird just thing of, I think people just wanted to see more out of this. Like, I think because it was such a blood feud. I mean, they don't use blood often on television, but CM Punk got bloody in this feud when Drew attacked him backstage. Because it was such a blood personal feud, I think people wanted a lot more intensity in that regard. I like that they started out hot with, let's just throw a bunch of punches at each other. And, we're not going to do this lockup nonsense. I hate that in blood feuds. So I did like that, but it felt like the intensity was lacking for what it should have been given the feud between them. And then it came to the Seth stuff and him getting involved and the friendship bracelet, which, like, I wasn't against. I understood. I know this thing means a lot to Punk, and him seeing Seth wearing it and everything. Like, I got all of that. And yeah, you mentioned Punk, that it got the best of him, that he was too focused on this. I was very surprised at the finish of one Claymore, and that was it. I thought the kick out was coming, and then they were going to do a little bit more. I know why Seth took the chair away, and then they did the T spot with SummerSlam. Man, if you were going to do some of that stuff, like, it felt like you should have just used the chair in this match. Like, it's such a big blood feud. Like, let them use the chair in this. The intensity didn't match the buildup, is my complaint for this match. I don't think it was a bad match. I get where the story they were telling with it. I just thought it was the wrong intensity.
Do you think, and others have made this point too, that adding Seth Rollins took away from the emotional component between Punk and McIntyre?
I don't know if Seth Rollins took away, because I understood where Seth's position. I think Seth being added to this made sense, because this started as Seth and Punk, and then Seth being involved is because McIntyre was beating up officials, and the officials wanted to handle the match and everything. Like, Seth's inclusion made sense from a story perspective. So I don't think this was a Seth Rollins being involved problem. I think this was a layout problem. Seth could have still been involved, because one thing I did like is when they're on the outside, and that was like the intense stuff, is when Drew is throwing them into the table and everything, and they're on the outside beating the shit out of each other, and Seth is just standing back there cackling. He's not counting or anything. He's doing the little pose on the ring on the corner and everything. Like, he's laughing and like, aha, look at these two idiots beating the shit out of each other. Like, I thought that was great. That's what it should have been, more of that. Like, when Drew got the chair, Seth should have just, like, something like that, and continue to laugh and everything, but let them go.
And he did do some of that when they were outside doing the chair, the stairs spot, and all of a sudden Rollins gets down and ties his shoes. I agree with you. More stuff like that would have been fine. Seth is a joker in this whole thing. He just wants the chaos to roll. He wants these two guys to beat the crap out of each other, but at this match, he ends up having to do something like they did again. They did the finish where he reluctantly counts the 3, and then Rollins rolls out, and he's like, he's out of here. He's done.
Wasn't even reluctant. Like,
true, he
just kind of counted, and this is why I expected like a kick out. It was one Claymore, and Seth counted normal. He even held up on the 2 to 3 to give Punk the extra half beat. And
well,
still.
It was the Claymore. It was the Claymore that came from, the most devastating move one can do in a match that I tell everyone to do.
Yeah.
You got kicked in the dick.
Yeah.
We're burying the lead here. That's how you win the match. Kick him in the dick. I've been saying it every show I go to. I told people when I go to shows, I don't really have much to say. I don't emote. I don't cheer. I don't boo unless somebody says something about my hometown and I agree with it. Instead, the only thing I say is kick him in the dick. Come on, let's end this. Let's go home. Let's go home. Come on, kick him in the dick. Let's go. And that's what they should have done. And that's what they did. So Drew McIntyre automatically becomes my favorite wrestler ever because took my advice, kicked him in the dick. Adam Copeland, when he won the TNT title, I was sitting next to our pal Chris, and I was just like, kick him in the dick. And Chris was like, why do you keep yelling that? I'm like, because someone's going to get kicked in the dick and someone's going to win the title. And guess what happened? Christian Cage, bam, right in the dick. Took a board full of nails to that side of things. Lost that title. So that's why one Claymore did it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have anything to add to that. But Rollins now finds himself in the middle of the CM Punk stuff more than the Drew stuff. Drew will probably come out tonight. He'll be happy, like we talked about on Friday's show. He'll be, over the moon. He finally got his victory. He did it his way. He did it the right way, and he still has the prize, which is the friendship bracelet. And then they put the bracelet on a pole, and at Bash in Berlin, it's the bash with the bracelet on the pole, right?
I don't think we're going to see all of that. I do think that we need the extra intensity, whatever the next match is. It seems like it's going to continue because Drew took the bracelet back. So clearly CM Punk is still going to want to go after the bracelet. Seth is going to still be involved in some way because he was the referee for this. But maybe Seth is not. Maybe Seth is just like, all right, I did my part. Now you two idiots can beat the shit out of each other. I'm going after Gunther. Like, I'm going after that title now. Like, which would make some sense as well. But it seems like Punk and McIntyre at the very least will continue.
Punk and Seth continuing. Again, I still feel like Punk and Seth is going to main event one of those WrestleManias, one of the nights this year, or I guess next year as it will be, because they wanted to do it last year and obviously they couldn't do it. And if they can get to that match, feels like they'll get there. Yeah, someone's saying a Berlin street fight. Perfect. That's the match right there between. Do they do Seth and Drew? Do they do, or not Seth and Drew? Sorry, yeah, Punk and Drew. Or do you do Seth and Punk? Do you get that?
I think it's gotta be Punk and Drew still, because Drew still has the bracelet.
Yeah, and make it no holds barred. Just make it a no holds barred match. Keep Seth out of it. Seth was on this time because they wanted to reintroduce that Punk and Seth have problems, and they wanted to reintroduce that Rollins should be on every card, even if he's not wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you do a triple threat match just yet. Like, you gotta settle things between Punk and Drew with in a bigger way, in a more rivalry way, like in a more really intense way. I know I've used that word a lot, but like, that's something this match was lacking, and that's something it needs, whatever the next match is.
So if they do a street fight in Berlin, by the way, Drew can lose. Europe, Austria is not Europe. Let's face it. It's a different world entirely.
It's Germany, isn't it? It's not Austria.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Gunther's from Austria. Berlin's in Germany. This is again the conversation that was in my brain. I'm like, why are you trying to get Gunther, who's from Austria, to get the world title in Austria? Sorry, it's in Berlin. It's in Germany. My mistake. I'm not an idiot. I just proved that I was. But anyway, I would do Seth or CM Punk and Drew rather in a maybe a street fight is the right answer for this pay-per-view coming up at the end of the month, and then you might have to blow it off in Hell in a Cell and just finish the story. And then would Punk win those two matches? Yeah, probably would. Or if they blow it off next at the end of the month, he gets the friendship bracelet and that's it. We move on. And then who does the Hell in a Cell? Could be Punk and Seth.
Drew shouldn't bring the friendship bracelet. It should just like keep it in a safe or something. Like, Punk's trying to get this thing back. He's like, I want my friendship bracelet back. And Drew's like, sorry, buddy. This thing is at Key Bank, and you're never going to get it back. It's in a lockbox that you don't have access to. Deal with it.
I tried to get the friendship bracelet through security. Security took the bracelet. Now I can't get it into the building.
He should just break it, right?
I mean, yes, but no. They should have another one made that he breaks.
So I thought the wife and I were discussing this at the show because we were admiring the durability of this bracelet and wondering, like, man, this thing is held up and like has not broken. And we were like, do you think they made like a dummy bracelet just in case? Because clearly this thing means something to Punk, and you don't want to like break this thing accidentally because that would suck. So I was wondering if they made like a dummy one just in case it did break. So I think maybe they should is make a dummy one, break it, and then move on. But then Punk can never be seen wearing it again because they're like, wait a second, I thought that thing broke. Like, I got another one. Deal with it, dorks.
Now, because the people on the bracelet are Punk's family, notably the dog and his wife. They're two different people. Sorry, I should. The dog is named Larry, and of course AJ Lee is his wife. Some people have been talking. If you go this far, do you have an appearance from AJ? I know that a lot of people ask, and obviously Punk continues to answer. It's up to her, and it is, and maybe not a match, but some sort of appearance in the crowd. And Drew McIntyre slaps him in the face and helps Punk, win his match.
I thought of that, Louis. I thought throwing it. I thought like kicking it, just like punting it into.
But it gets caught on his foot because he. That's the problem. Can't work. Is it a working bracelet or a shooting bracelet?
What if he fed it to like a shark or something?
He should feed it to another dog.
I thought about saying that, but that seemed like cruel. That seemed like animal cruelty. A shark, whatever. Shark.
I get it. You make one that's like dog friendly because obviously they're fake, right? You get away. It's wrestling. It's entertainment. We do it safely, but you feed it to another dog.
Drew should eat it if he was a real man.
He just opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Just one open throat comment.
Yeah.
Good God. That would be fun. That would be good. But yeah, like Ken's saying in the chat, the fact that the bracelet didn't break is a miracle. It was close a few times. It's been stretched to its limit. You're right.
Best worker in the match.
Love that you and your wife are sitting there in the stands and everyone's like, yeah, go this guy. And you're like, that friendship bracelet really, really held on.
Yeah.
You're going to vote for it in the Fightful Awards.
Probably.
Toughest worker, friendship bracelet.
Should win, honestly. Sean's going to look at my ballot and be like, oh, fuck, I can't believe we employed this guy.
Oh, we employ you for your work, not for your ideas.
That's not right.
The director of content. Gunther wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Both
hashtag Joel is wrong.
Yeah, no, listen, I was wrong, but I didn't like how we got here.
Look at this guy trying to defend himself. I was wrong, but I didn't like how wrong I was.
No, I don't like how they got to how I was wrong. How's that? Gunther winning is fine with me. I've never been against Gunther winning the world title. I thought that there was still more in the Damian Priest tank when it came to his babyface run, and that a renewed babyface Damian Priest as a world champion had some merit. I understand that the Judgment Day implosion was a big deal and it had to happen. I really didn't like how we got to it. I don't like that it was Finn comes out, puts Gunther's leg on the rope. And I do like that Damian Priest saw it. I do like that he saw the replay. They showed the replay, which they normally don't do in the arena.
Yeah, I was confused of like, why they've not showed a replay during the match at all. What is happening here?
Normally it's just the package at the end that you see. But instead they play the replay and Damian Priest sees it and he's incensed. And then they made Priest look like an idiot by going after Finn instead of finishing the match. That's what bugged me most. I understand he's upset at his pal. I understand that he, but he's still the world champion. To break like that, I think takes away from the other side of the coin, which is, Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship. He won it without cheating himself. He didn't cause the problem, but it took away from one story. It was a little too much for me. I wish they had just done a different finish without the going to choke Finn twice. The one time was fine. When they went to it twice, that's when I was like, come on, man. Like,
counterpoint.
Dumb.
Counterpoint. That fucking ruled when he goes after Finn on the outside and goozles him, and then Gunther kicks the shit out of him. But that ruled. That was a great spot.
That looked good, but I wish that had been the first time. I wish that had just been it. Instead, when they go for it twice, it was doing it twice that really took me out of it. Instead, again, Gunther winning the title, he goes and he poses and he's like on top of the announce table and he's having his moment. That stuff was great. That's fantastic. Damian Priest is now going to go off and he's going to do his thing and hopefully go after Gunther again for the world title at one point. But, Damian Priest, the babyface, very clear, very, very fun to see. And I look forward to where that goes, especially with Rhea potentially on his side. Maybe it's going to be Rhea and Priest versus Liv and Dom. They're going to run that match. They are.
At some point,
or Finn and Liv, more likely.
Yeah.
And then Dominic at ringside.
I thought the match was good. I thought Priest looked really good. Gunther's Gunther. He always looks strong. The Finn interference, another thing you can just kind of see coming once he came out there. The setup to doing it, I didn't fully love. Like Priest, I know people have pointed out like Priest rolling him to the ropes and everything. Like Gunther,
Sorry, I was going to say that looked more to me like Gunther was the one rolling to the ropes, not.
Yeah, but Priest clearly puts his hand on him and pushes him.
I know. I think what they were trying to do was Gunther's rolling and Priest was trying to catch him to stop it, but I get it. I think just the pace was off.
Yeah. Yeah, because Gunther rolling that close did make sense. It's just Priest, he kind of the way his hand was positioned in the put, like it just didn't come off great. And then Finn putting the leg on the ropes. Like I was a little surprised they just showed the replay because I was thinking like, oh, Priest doesn't know. But then they show the replay and then Priest sees it. It's like, oh, okay, well now Priest does know. I do hope Gunther, I think someone pointed out in our chat, like, I do hope Gunther doesn't fully accept this victory and is like, Damian Priest, you're street trash, but you put up a good fight. Finn Balor, I didn't really need his help. I want Gunther to recognize that, yeah, I don't need Finn Balor's help. I would have beaten you regardless. So let's run this back. Maybe they can run this back in Berlin and they go there. Or maybe you just build up a big Raw match between them. But I would imagine they're going to end up running this back.
What is it with Gunther having big matches that end in controversy and then they just don't run them back?
Yeah, that I always find that hilarious when Triple H was like, I'm sure Randy Orton wants a rematch. I'm sure Gunther wants a rematch. And then we just never hear about it again. Like, who cares?
And then tonight or on Saturday, Triple H nowhere to be found when that comment happened. So do you want to give Damian Priest a rematch? It was a great show. We had a lot of fun tonight. Let's focus on the positive. So I wouldn't. Okay, this is the problem with trying to book WWE from a different standpoint than where it is now. Typically you would see, they're going to do a rematch tonight. And of course the rematch ends with Finn Balor getting involved again. And it's a big turmoil, blah, blah, blah. They could do that, especially because Ludwig Kaiser is back tonight on Raw. He does have a match. So like they could start a thing where, Imperium, not Judgment Day, but at least like they all start kind of meleeing again. They could run that because both men are going to be on the show. That's been announced. So I would not be surprised if they do like a world title rematch and then it ends in a schmaz and that's the blowout. But I don't want it that way. I'd much rather, like you said, Gunther come out and be like, no, this isn't how I wanted to win. I want to have a rematch. I want to give Damian Priest his opportunity, blah, blah, blah. You can't ban anyone from ringside, but they have to find a way. Someone saying cage match in Berlin. I don't know if I would go that far. But again, if you want to keep everyone out, it's kind of the only way you can do it. But I don't know if that's like worth doing. It baby faces Gunther in a way by giving him the match that's like advantageous, or at least it's going to feel that way. And then Gunther's going to say, what?
Why does the cage match feel advantageous? It doesn't babyface Gunther as Damian Priest comes out and is like, look, dude, all of this happened. You want to be this mat is sacred, ring is sacred. I don't think Gunther gets big because people know Gunther is just the straightforward wrestling guy. So you present it as Damian Priest coming out and saying, like, defend this thing. Like, this is how you beat me. This is how you beat me. You want to prove you're a champion. This is how we're going to do it. And Gunther's like, I would have beaten you regardless. Fine. You want to do it in a cage? I'm going to beat your ass in a cage.
If they play it that way, absolutely. The way I was thinking in my head was that it was Gunther who introduces the cage match as a, you deserve a chance, blah, blah, blah. But no, it should be Priest that introduces if they do it. Love Pro brings up a good point, though. Like, why would Gunther care now? He's rich, aloof heel and not the ring is sacred anymore. He thinks the ring is sacred, but it's almost as if the being rich and above people has kind of taken a slow, position above the ring is sacred.
I don't need another rich aloof heel who needs help every single match.
He needs a cowboy hat. He needs a cabinet. He needs Orlando. No, he doesn't need that guy. He needs a group of wrestlers at his side and a cowboy hat and a big, long limousine with Texas Longhorns, and he can be the rich Texan Gunther.
No. I don't need another heel who needs a bunch of interference to win a match. This is why I actually would prefer Gunther to just not go that route, continue to just be the person that he is and agree to a rematch with whether it's a cage, whether it's no outside, whatever it might be, but just do a straight up match and get Gunther back on that track. Because if he is just, hey, I'm the guy who that's been like every single title reign for, I feel like the past however many. Roman had it in every single match. Priest had it to the point they acknowledged it during a video package with Priest. Fucking Cody has it as well. Like, all these champions just keep needing a bunch of interference to win their matches. Make Gunther, and now Gunther, the way he wins the title is because of interference stuff. Like, make him different with this title reign, like you did with the Intercontinental title when he was just beating the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. We're going to get to Volip's point in a minute, actually, because I do want to talk about that. We can get there. And then the main event, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. Whoa. Did people do the whoa? Was it loud?
Yeah, it was loud.
I
Yeah.
figured he was.
We couldn't hear a shit thing Arn Anderson said. I don't know what he told to Cody. Didn't seem like he told him to bring the Glock, which disappointing. But
Well, if he doesn't pull out this, then you know it's not happening.
yeah, we couldn't hear anything.
So I'll tell you, at home you couldn't hear the first little bit either. They had to do the parabolic, the shotgun mic, and that also made it sound like the Fox feed where it always sounds like it's in a tin can. It wasn't audio. The audio wasn't very well put together for that one. So you're not alone. I know in a stadium it's even harder. So yeah, don't worry, you weren't alone. But basically he just said you got your friends and we got more friends. So don't you worry. That was effectively what he said. Cody Rhodes beat Solo Sikoa in a match where people were just like, come on, get to the fireworks factory.
Yeah, this is my problem with these Bloodline rules matches is everyone knew the interference was coming. So Cody and Solo working a 15-minute match, no one could possibly care. It was just bring out everybody you're going to bring out and go from there. Like I know like they feel they can't do that for some reason, but we know it's coming. We knew Tama and Tonga, the greatest worker of all time, Tonga Loa, were going to come in at some point. We knew Randy and Kevin were going to come out. We knew Jacob was going to come out. We obviously figured and were anticipating Roman's return. Fine. If you're not going to do that immediately, you got to do more instead of just let's work a hold type nonsense. Like do some chairs, especially because Punk and McIntyre lacked the intensity and didn't have to do a whole lot. Do some crowd brawling. Like I know people don't love that kind of stuff, but you got to get to the interference when everybody's anticipating it a different way than just, oh, Solo's one step ahead. He moved out of the way here. He knew the little uppercut was coming. Like no one, we were just all right, let's get to stuff. You got to do something different to get to that point if you're not going to get to that point quickly.
Yeah, so we're waiting on literally anything to happen. And you know what? I kind of mentioned this before the show even started on Saturday. Given the fact that DIY dropped those tag titles and they didn't look that bad in defeats, I would have kind of liked at least Johnny Gargano getting a moment to come out there and at least try. At least have a moment. Like he just lost the tag titles. He's pissed off.
Fail again.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say he fails, but at least he gets a move in and takes out one of the members of the Bloodline, not Jacob. Maybe Jacob just comes in and does take him out at the end because it's one by one. But I just would have liked Johnny to have that moment. Johnny and Tommaso for that matter. Tommaso should be upset at Solo Sikoa for costing him the title. He should go after Solo Sikoa for that. Instead, they didn't come out. It would have been fun. You know, people saying that Cleveland doesn't really care about Gargano. Yeah, but you can get them to care by pointing out they lost the tag titles. They want to help. You build them. That's how you build them.
No offense to Johnny Gargano. Love Johnny Gargano. And I do think like the pop would have been fine in Cleveland. Like it would have been cool. Jey Uso would have been the dude because we were all ready to fucking pop for Jey Uso. There were so many people in my section who were just like, but they're not going to have Jey Uso just like come out just to do like the yeeting in a big stadium. Like you can't miss an opportunity to have all of this in a stadium. Like that would have been the guy to just bring out for a musical pop.
Yeah, that was another one that I was waiting for was Jey Uso. He wasn't on the card at all, and that was a bit surprising. But I guess he wasn't factored into this whole shebang. Now that Roman Reigns comes out last, you got to start thinking that the cards are going to be out on the table. They're going to start building the Reigns line, the Bloodline 2. But now Roman Reigns is venturing into territory that hasn't been very good for him in the past, and that is the role of babyface.
All right, so they're doing this match. Jacob, we see him go like do the big splash on the table and then immediately grab his leg. I don't know how serious this was. I know he was in a walking boot after. I know he was told to sell the leg. It looked like shit. It like the injury. Like he looked upset. Like, he was selling it. More power to him. He sold the hell out of that thing. And then they get back in the ring and they do the double down spot. When the music hits and the Roman Reigns thing flashed on the screen, I went back and rewatched this. Didn't do justice to how big this pop was. everybody was certainly anticipating Roman returning. Like from the beginning of the show, walking into the arena, everyone was like, Roman Reigns coming back, real tribal chief coming back. So we were all anticipating this. Man, when that music hit and the Roman Reigns flash up on there, pop was huge for this. And then when he showed up on the screen, that was the pop that I really don't think did justice. Is like when he enters and is finally shown on the screen of being there, that was just as loud as when the music first hit. Gets in the ring, Superman punch. Obviously, I don't hear the commentary. I did go back and watch, and then Corey Graves is like, he's coming after Cody, and McAfee's like, he's coming after Solo. So I did hear the whose side is he on commentary in the meantime. I always thought he was just going to take out Solo.
Yeah,
he's in the ring.
Cole's just like, you idiots.
He didn't even like tease hitting Cody or whatever, because Cody's still like halfway down on the ground as Roman gets in, and Solo's all the way up and just immediately takes out Solo. The ooh-ah was over big. And then, yeah, Cody wins. Roman is, I know people overuse the aura thing, and I even saw the sign of like Roman Reigns aura times 1,000. I was thinking about this during the show, and it was later confirmed to me after Roman Reigns came up or returned. This man is so fucking good. He is so amazing at just the little things. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You know, they do the entrance. Excuse me. Let me mute my mic here.
Yeah, that's right. You clear your throat. Get ready for your big moments.
Okay. You know, they do the intros for the big title matches. They do the 8K shot, which looks really cool. It looks like a video game and everything. Like, it looks awesome. They do that. And I was thinking during one of the matches, I don't remember which match they were doing the intro, because they do it for all the title matches. I turn to my wife. I said, remember when they would do this and they do Roman, and he'd be like laughing and swinging the title like it's his dick and everything. And just the presence this man has. It's like, I miss that shit. So at the end of the show, when he comes back, he returns and they got the camera on him. He's just like looking down at his shirt and he's just like smiling, just like lit, like just, you know, just like doing the Roman face. So fucking good. The man doesn't do a whole lot, but man, when he's on screen, he pops. He pops so well on screen. Oh, I miss this man. The greatest worker of our generation, Roman Reigns. Don't let anybody tell you different, folks. People are going to say, oh, he only wrestles 5 matches a year. Oh, he only shows up to television half the time. Yeah, he also makes the most money. He ain't going out there killing himself, doing 300 flips every day of the week, making little money. And making the talent, I get it, you know, the grind. I respect those grinding legally and illegally. Roman Reigns is grinding legally and at the highest level. Okay? That's what pro wrestling's all about. Doing the minimal, getting the biggest reactions and the biggest checks. Roman Reigns got that shit figured the fuck out. And that's why he's the greatest worker of this generation. Bless Cody Rhodes. He wants to make all the towns. He wants to stay after and shake hands and kiss babies. And he's getting political offers to run for office in Georgia. Good for him. You know what's better than that? Barely showing up, getting better checks, not doing a bunch of dumb shit, and still getting the biggest reactions. Roman Reigns, the guy, the big dog, the tribal chief. We acknowledge him in this house.
Yeah, but what happens when they throw dog food on him again?
Love this man. Love him.
He
He endured all that shit so he could get to this level.
He did.
Roman Reigns put in his work of dog food and suffering succotash and all of this nonsense. He endured all of that to get to this level so we can do this kind of shit. And so we can do all of this and not be yelled at by a bunch of dorks who are like, where's my 5-star Roman Reigns match? Who gives a fuck about your 5-star Roman Reigns match? Roman Reigns is at 5-star hotels, at 5-star restaurants, taking 5-star jets, getting 5-star money. That's what matters.
And having 500 kids.
Bless.
Yes. So he comes back. He's wearing his Prilosec OTC shirt. Roman Reigns no longer a wrestler. He's actually a pharmacist. He's done with this wrestling shit. He is now over the counter. That's what OTC stands for, right? That's what it is. Okay, just making sure. Glad we got that checked out. So he comes out and he gets involved. He takes out Solo Sikoa. He gives the nod to Cody, just like the Undertaker did to him years ago. And Roman's back. He's at least made it known that he's watching and he's listening, or that someone has been watching and listening for him. Paul wasn't there. I think people were expecting Paul Heyman to be in tow, but instead they left it to just be Roman going out and doing his thing, which I don't mind. I'd like to see Paul.
You needed Heyman for this.
Me neither. I think Paul comes back when there's either a promo or at least an opportunity for him to say, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I do the shtick, and then give the mic to Roman and start whatever he's going to do.
Roman's already advertised, by the way, for SmackDown this week.
Perfect.
This is all you need. You come back from commercial break, or you open the show, whatever, and then it's just Heyman standing there, and then ladies and gentlemen, and the pop Paul Heyman gets for that, introducing Roman Reigns. That's all you need. Remember when Heyman and Roman were first aligned? It was just camera zoom over. There's Paul Heyman. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. He's just there, and the tribal chief is back, and so Paul Heyman's back.
Perfect. Fine by me. Val sent a super chat saying, Roman is my anti-work icon. That's higher than being tribal chief. The man is he's the Reddit come to life anti-work. That's what Roman should be. So he's going to come out on Friday. He'll do his thing. And I guess we'll be off to the races. We got confirmation Survivor Series is going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia. No LA for you losers. It's going to be LA North. That's actually here. This is where I am, is kind of LA North. What's New York North? I don't know how we compare. But regardless, Vancouver gets the Survivor Series at Rogers Arena. It's an arena show, not a dome show, which, means 2 rings and less people, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Round trip is $200 right now on a plane. So it's not bad. $200 flight. Find a place to stay. Maybe there's going to be a War Games match between the Romans reign and the Bloodline reigns. Should I go?
There's gonna be War Games. Sure, go. I don't care what you do with your life, Joel.
Why not? You are actively telling me what to do with my life.
No.
Consistently. Cody Rhodes wins the match. He retains his world championship. What's next? And is it another match with Solo? Feels like this has had to be one and done, given that they did Bloodline rules, right?
Yeah, they're not going to do Solo and Cody again.
Will they?
No, why would they?
I think the Fatu stuff is gonna, that's the one thing that's gonna change where we go. Hopefully he's not injured. Hopefully he was just selling. The boot was hopefully just an over the top sell just to show him out and about in a boot, and people wonder what's going on. And if he's injured, man, that's going to change some plans, I think. And that would suck. Not that I'm saying that's going to be, Jacob Fatu overthrows the Bloodline or anything, but I think that the beat right now should almost become Roman comes out, says his shit, and he also plants seeds of doubt within the other camp. So like, why is this guy your tribal chief? He can't win a match for the world title. I held the title for X amount of days. I'm the man. What do you want him for? We don't care about you. You're just a bunch of Wolverines, whatever. They do the thing. Plant the seeds of doubt, Roman Reigns. That's why I'm saying the Fatu injury might play into how that comes about or goes around.
I think right now Cody is done with Bloodline stuff. I see people in the chat saying Orton. That makes some sense because I don't know who else they got on the SmackDown side heel wise that have been built up to anything. There's nobody because they already did the Logan Paul match, and so they're not going to run that back or anything. Yeah. You're not going to have like Escobar or anybody. You haven't really built anybody else up on that side. So an Orton turn makes some sense. And then Roman will get to Cody when he gets to Cody. First, he's going after Solo for disrespecting the family and disrespecting the legacy, disrespecting the bloodline, not that legacy, but disrespecting the bloodline. Oh, Andrade's actually a good shout. Run that shit back in Georgia. Let Cody go through the flaming table again. Let's go. I'm all for that.
2 wins. Yeah, the winner of the best of 5 between Carmelo and Andrade gets the world championship.
I'm all for Cody and Andrade running that thing back. So, but yeah, I think Roman is going to focus on Solo. How they go about that, it's easy to go about it because it's Roman Reigns. They got to figure something out with Solo to make him presentable, or they got to bring The Rock back very quickly on this, because Roman's gonna dwarf Solo. He's gonna eat Solo, not literally, but like he's
Well,
gonna.
he could. Who knows?
Yeah.
Could be a very hungry man after his time off.
He's gonna eat that man alive, especially if Heyman is by him as well. Like Solo's like fine. I think Solo did a good job in this role, by the way. I wasn't very high on Solo going into all of this. They did a good job presenting him. I think he did a good job in the role. His work is still, it's like fine, but not what you would like really, really want from a top guy. But he did a good job. But you're talking Heyman, who's one of the best talkers there. You're talking Roman, who just the presence alone. It's not so much that Boris that he's going to bury Solo. I don't think that's going to be the thing. It's just the presence of Roman and Heyman. Just that alone doesn't like bury the guy, but it's tough to combat that when you don't have that same presence. And Solo doesn't have that same presence. Jacob Fatu does, but Fatu is not the guy. So, at least the guy that they're presenting. So this is where, that's why everyone's saying, well, The Rock's got to be the guy to come back and like lead this thing, because The Rock obviously has that presence. But I don't know when Rock's going to return.
Maybe it's Rikishi.
He doesn't have.
Oh, thank God for Jey Uso telling him, Dad, just relax. Let me do my thing. Stay home and do your podcast. But now Roman Reigns being presented as an over babyface is something that has flamed out in the past. And I'm genuinely looking forward to how a cool Roman Reigns babyface will get over with the crowd. I know it will, but I mean, I'm looking forward to how the crowds eat it up is kind of where I'm going. They were ready to do it at WrestleMania. They were getting there because of all the stuff with The Rock and all that. Now, I mean, using The Rock to get Roman Reigns over more as a babyface, that's a pretty good move to do. I'm happy that they're letting Roman do the babyface stuff moving forward and like give it to him for a few years, because again, they tried 12 years. They were trying to make Roman the guy. And when they almost did, it got blown up and it sucked. And then, you know, he had his cancer diagnosis come back and he took time off, dropped the title and all that stuff, came back, and it just, they screwed it up again. They tried to use the Shield too many times as a reason for them to cheer Roman. It wasn't working. Now we're actually going to get a babyface Roman Reigns that is more natural to the Roman Reigns character and built through that heel run where he was just being the dickiest version of himself. Now he gets to do it and take down bad guys at the same time. And that's good.
Here's where I give a lot of credit to Solo and just the overall booking of things. Solo helped get Roman over as a babyface, because the way they booked Solo, the way they had him take out Jimmy, the way they had him take out Heyman, the way he went about himself of calling himself the new tribal chief and like disrespecting Roman Reigns, the crowd chanted for Roman Reigns. They turned Roman Reigns babyface through Solo Sikoa. And that's where Solo did a very good job of establishing himself as a top heel and turning Reigns face in the process. But again, Roman's now going to come in there and the crowd will eat up anything Roman does. They're going to love Roman. Can Solo maintain any type of level as a heel with Roman now, with Roman actually back and just the aura, the mana, whatever you want to call it, casting over Solo? Because Solo was doing fine on his own. We didn't have that. He was next to Cody, and Cody, you know, kind of did it a little bit, but the overarching story was still Roman Reigns. I mean, Cody Rhodes does a great job as a babyface. I don't think there's any denying that. The crowd was chanting, "We want Roman," and Solo sucks, or "fuck you, Solo," during this match. Those were the main chants during this match. So clearly something clicked with Solo as the heel. But what clicked was everybody wanting Roman Reigns and the disrespect of Roman. That's why we didn't like Solo. Now that Roman's back, can Solo maintain that with Roman's actual presence being around?
That's the question. And that's where you bring in The Rock. And The
Honestly,
Rock
that probably is where they're going, I would assume, because that's what's needed. Because I don't know if Solo can do that. Again, I don't think Solo did a terrible job at this. He clearly did what he needed to do. But now that Roman's back, and I don't say this is disrespect to Solo. When Rock came out earlier this year, Roman's presence went down. Like, we were all like, oh yeah, Roman's the guy and everything. But now the fucking Rock is here. And he's a true, like, mega star on all of this. And like, Roman still had his presence, but you could still see it of like, ooh, okay, Roman's presence good, but now here's the final boss. Now, like, this is a real megastar. Sorry, LA Knight. Like,
I was gonna say, now it's get The Rock out of here and have LA Knight join Solo. Pump him up. Yeah. Why not? Huh? No? Okay. I mean, they're all related somehow. I'm sure LA Knight could find a way to sneak in there. Date one of the Tongans? No? No? Okay. I feel like The Rock is the play. Many people have already posited this. The idea that The Rock was behind the bad bloodline. Roman's coming out. He's either going to blow that up or he's going to fall into it when The Rock comes back. Do they let Roman call it out? Or does Roman get blindsided by it?
I think it's blindsided. I don't think Roman thinks The Rock would do this because The Rock was always on his side and stuff. I think Roman just comes out and he targets Solo. He's like, the fuck is wrong with you? This is the wise man you just went after. He probably just understands Jimmy. He's like, you know what, Jimmy? Fine. That's understandable.
Yeah, he came and went as he pleased. Don't worry about that guy.
You went after the wise man. You're calling yourself the tribal chief. That's bestowed upon you. You don't just take that just because I'm away for a little bit. You were supposed to be the one. But you were the one when I say you were the one. You don't just come in here and fuck everything up for the family. You got to learn your place in line, young man. Roman Reigns put the spanking on him. You should bend him over his knee and spank him.
Do they explain the Ulafala and how it came into Solo's hands?
I like how the biggest stories in wrestling are an Ulafala and a friendship bracelet.
As they should be. Titles mean nothing. They're props. we're talking real things from real days of work. This would be... I kind of wish that Roman had walked away with it and just been like, this is mine. And just let him walk away with it, and that's it. And then it shows that the title's important, but I don't want this right now. This is what I want. This is mine. I'm taking it back. But instead, we'll probably play it off starting on Friday on SmackDown when he comes back and they tell the story of the Ulafala. I feel like they have to. You can't invoke Tribal Chief that many times and not use it later, and they not make it part of the story.
I'm sure they will.
We got a super chat from me, Normus, our pal, saying, hello, bruvs. Should I go to run Monday Night Raw tonight? It's only a 45-minute drive from Meat Castle. God damn, does that thing taste good? But I can stay home, watch it, and eat bacon wrapped shrimp. Can you bring the bacon wrapped shrimp to Raw instead? Yeah. That is a very important question. I think Raw, listen, they've got a lot of things on the docket for Raw tonight. Like, I'm looking at the rundown. It's a pretty packed show. They've announced almost everything that they're going to do tonight. So I don't want to do an early Raw preview. Stick around for the end of that. But I'll tell you right now, between everything announced and coming off of a very hot SummerSlam, you might enjoy being there if it's in your budget.
I think it'll be a good show. Like, the shows are long, but I went to Raw in November. It was early December. One of the two. Like, it's a good show. The live experience is good. I'll to kind of put a bow on SummerSlam stuff. I know there's a lot of downtime with all of this. At home, you get all the commercials and everything. And I know people feel a type of way about all of that. Like, being there live, the live experience is good. Even the downtime, because you can get some food and stuff. I didn't miss anything, which is nice. I didn't have to go and when I went to get food, I didn't have to miss any matches. I think I missed the start of a video package. Like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, I know people don't like the downtime, but being there live, the downtime doesn't seem all that long. Like, you just watch commercials, but you can talk with other people. You can, get food, bathroom, go check out other stuff, be on your phone, obviously. Like, live is a good experience for wrestling fans. It's better than, kind of watching at home. I will say, I guess it depends on what you like. Being at Revolution earlier this year, where it's like nonstop action, like match. Like there isn't a whole lot of break between things. I think there's a happy medium between both, because live, by the way, live at like AEW, that's a good experience too. I'm not saying this is like, oh, the WWE live experience is so great. The AEW live experience is so great. I think any wrestling show live is typically a great experience. I'm talking about the difference in presentation between the two, where one is nonstop pace and another, there's a lot of downtime. I think there's a happy medium between the two that it'd be nice if somebody figured out, to where it's not fully just like, oh yeah, we got 15-minute break between everything, or we have a 15-second break between everything. There got to be something. There's got to be something in between there.
Yeah, pacing is always a big topic of conversation, and like we found out that the Intercontinental Championship match went short. They went a little quicker than planned. Then at that point, you got to figure out ways to make things breathe. I don't know. It's tough. It's very tough to time a show, especially live, where you can't edit it after the fact to make it breathe or to give you that moment to sit on it. But both sides, of the coin don't give you a lot of time. And this was something at Slammiversary that happened too. There was a lot of like, get right to it. There was no time to breathe. And that stuff kind of took away from part of the night. I don't know.
I know Paul Jobber Finisher is kind of joking of like, we need a 45-minute Miz TV segment. I do think they could do a whole lot more with this host thing. Miz did what? He did the one thing to start the show of like, welcome to Cleveland, blah, blah. And then they did the attendance announcement with Jelly Roll. Like, you can't give me a backstage thing with Miz or a concourse thing with Miz. Like, do some of that stuff in between just to help the pacing. And it feels like something is happening with that. Because I think like the host gimmick is a fun little thing, especially like they've been doing it. Basically, Trish was at Money in the Bank, and I forgot who but like they try to do this. It seems like every show, it feels like, which is fine. It's a good way to utilize either somebody on the roster if it's in their hometown, or a legend, or however, or a celebrity if it's going to be a celebrity. But like, you just got to do a little bit more with it. And I think some of that downtime would be the spot to do it, even if it's for the live crowd. I know at home you got to run ads and stuff, but the Peacock Premium people who aren't getting all these ads and stuff, they would be able to at least get to see that.
Bring Brett to Survivor Series.
Sure.
It's in Vancouver.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. No, I wouldn't do that. Did you see this? Speaking of Jelly Roll, by the way, R-Truth tweeting me and Post Malone backstage at SummerSlam.
Honestly,
discussing a collab.
I couldn't tell you the difference.
Oh, God. God bless R-Truth. He's good stuff. I do want to bring this up because this was... I mean, listen, you weren't having to go to a press conference or cover it after the show, but Vala had sent a couple of messages that I want to bring up. He said, by the way, speaking on these press conferences, did you see the bit about WWE PR person openly telling people that they're actively blocking tough questions and then adding the comment, the media have their job, we have ours? I'm pretty sure that he's talking about the Chris LeGentle interview that you and I talked about on Friday. I didn't see it as Chris saying we don't let you ask tough questions, because he also praised Pollock and Thurston in the same sentence. Now, for whatever reason, we don't know why, and I'm sure John will get into it on his show, or at least in his whenever. John Pollock wasn't in the room for the press conference. I don't know if you have anything on that, or if I've missed something, but John hasn't spoken about it that I've noticed, but people have brought it up, and I think that's worth noting because it's not the first time that's happened to John Pollock.
For once, I didn't have to cover a press conference. I was not even home when all of this was going down with the press conference stuff. And then largely day after events, I try to just stay off of social media. and stuff. But I did obviously see that Pollock was not there, and this isn't the first time this has happened with him. I think it's very strange that they credential people, but only for like certain things. I think it's kind of stupid, honestly. Like if you're going to credential somebody and you're going to put them in the media press, you're going to put them in the press box, they should be at the press conference. If you're not going to credential them, like fine. That would obviously be a story as well if like Pollock wasn't credentialed at all. But if you're going to credential them and you're going to be like, yeah, you're media, you're here, you're at the press box to cover the event. Oh, but only if these people have access to the press conference. I think that's stupid.
So when I was at Money in the Bank, the way that they kind of explained it without explaining it, in other words, that I didn't ask outright, but from what I was seeing, they were giving out the bracelets. You had a yellow bracelet if you were going to the press conference. You had a green bracelet if you were not. I think they saw content creators versus news makers / people who actually do video content primarily. So for us, obviously with Fightful, they know that we do news. They know that we do video content as well. So we're in the room. For Pollock, again, Pollock and Thurston have been in the room every single time I have, and every single time I've watched a press conference, regardless of the company. That was a little strange, but again, not the first time they've done it, where you didn't see John Pollock in the room. There's also people have brought up the on location people, those who have been paying for the ticket and the full experience. This Money in the Bank was my first time experiencing this, where in the room behind the camera, behind the media, were a row, probably less than 50 people, probably closer to 30 people sitting there with like Money in the Bank briefcases that were given to them as part of the on location purchase, and they get to sit in the press conference and see it. So then they're the ones that are largely doing the applauding and the hooting and hollering stuff. Again, going back to WrestleMania, it wasn't Reigns saying get that person out of here as a member of media. It was someone who had an on-location package. That was what that was. So this time there was talk that they had more people at the on location filling up the room than they did media, and as a result, some people didn't get brought into the media room. And if that's true, I think that's bullshit, because that's not how this works with a media press conference. But I can't tell you for sure that's the reason. As to how they make the decisions, I really do think it comes down to what the outlet covers and what their reach is. And I feel like someone made a mistake when it comes to John Pollock. But again, I keep saying, but again, this isn't the first time it's happened to him. So something happened, something weird happened. But sorry, going back to Money in the Bank, I also saw them say to someone, give this guy a yellow bracelet. He's not supposed to be here, but he's coming with us, blah, blah, blah. Like I've seen them make changes for people on the fly, but then also say to each other, like, okay, but he's not going to get a question, but he can come here and shoot this or whatever it is. So like, it's a weird nebulous thing they have with these press conferences.
I just think it's stupid to, hey, let's invite media, but only certain people are allowed to do certain things when it comes to press conference. Like if you don't want the photographers to be asking questions at press conference, like, okay, fine. I understand photographers are there to take pictures. Like they're maybe not experienced in like asking questions stuff. If it is print, interview, whatever type of content media who are used to being on camera, used to doing interviews, used to covering stuff like in that form, they should probably be part of the press conference and allowed to ask a question. Otherwise, don't have them be at the show. Like, because then the coverage you're getting is the junket coverage, which I know everyone likes and enjoys. And it's good for outlets. It's good for WWE and everything. But do you need their junket coverage, but then they don't get press conference coverage? It's weird to me. It's just weird to me that you're going to restrict people from doing certain things when it comes to covering the event. If they're in the press box, if they're working at the press, if they're allowed to be at the junket, if they're credentialed for the junket, they should be credentialed for the press conference. Then you avoid all of this other stuff as far as like they can do this, but they can't do that. It's dumb. Don't credential them at all. Just be like, you know what? We had an overflow of media. We had to take the people we could take. Sorry, it wasn't anything against you. and that's it. Then it's honestly less of a story in that way, because that happens everywhere. That happens with every event of, oh, we couldn't really take you because we had an overflow of media and we had to focus on these people who were closer or bigger outlet or whatever it might be. I just think it's dumb.
Sean says at the top of the show, Pollock did talk about it at their post wrestling SummerSlam post show. So go back and listen to that. I probably will this afternoon just to get an idea, and I'm sure they'll talk about it on the Pollock and Thurston show on Wednesday, which I definitely listen to because that's where I get some of my information and some of my news. So yeah, that's just kind of the wrap on SummerSlam. I know that there's tons of stuff over on Fightful Select, the best $5 in the business. Go to
how was
the
press conference, by the way?
I was asleep at 11:15. I watched it on 2x speed and it was okay.
I did notice that, and I thought this was a good thing. They announced like a lot of stuff for Raw during not the press conference, but like during the post show portion of it. But it was just like a kind of 1/3 graphic at the bottom. They didn't like say too much. But I think that was a good use of something like that. I actually think they could have highlighted that a little bit more. Of like, hey, by the way, Raw, CM Punk's going to be there. Drew McIntyre's going to be there. Gunther's going to be there. I thought they could have done like Kaiser's back from injury. Kofi's back from injury. Like I thought that was a good use of the press conference and the post show. I like that they've done with the post show. It's now a post show with the press conference mixed in. I think that's a good call to kind of keep people around and attentive.
Yeah, and they needed that kind of shot in the arm because the press conference was absolutely a presentation void just on its own. It needed the little spice of entertainment, which like people will watch more, they'll be more attentive, and then you add in the wrestler junkets in the middle. And like you said, they promote stuff for Raw, they get more eyes on the product. It's good. I'm hoping that they do this one little fix for the media who are in the room, and that is you show them parts of the post show while they're sitting there waiting for the press conference, because they did that at Money in the Bank, and there's a lot of downtime. I tell you, all the stuff we didn't see the Drew McIntyre angle in the concourse where he got suspended. We didn't see any of that. We didn't know any of it, and as a result, some of our content or some of our questions gets kind of mucked up. I can't ask a question when I don't see what happens. So if they're not showing us what's going on, we can't react based on some of that. And as a result, we're maybe just asking old questions or at least not able to follow up on something. And maybe that's WWE not wanting us to do that. But it would be nice to be able to see what's going on in between waiting for the next wrestler to come through. Because otherwise, we're just sitting there quietly waiting while, chit-chatting.
Okay.
That's all. We'll see. Maybe they'll start doing it for the next round of pay-per-views. These are recent additions to the shows, and I'd like to see those implemented. Is there anything else from SummerSlam that you wanna talk about?
It was a good show. I'm probably biased because I was there live. Again, when you're there live, the experience is going to be a lot different than watching on television. But I thought live it was a fun show. I understand people maybe didn't like the wrestling in-ring portion of things, but you're gonna, like we talked about with Zarian earlier, like if you want that kind of stuff, there is a great alternative for that kind of stuff. I think WWE can deliver that every now and again, but they are focused on characters and stories. And to get these characters and stories, you're gonna have things like Dominic Mysterio turning, Finn Balor turning, Roman Reigns returning, all of that stuff. Like that's what happens when that's the overall focus. They are appealing to a broader audience who does not just want to go on Cage Match and rate shows. And I think that's okay to recognize. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You're probably best off not watching it, not covering it. If it's for you pretty quickly on this. But you're probably best off if not watching it, if this stuff just isn't for you. I can find the good in both. I can find, what both companies do well and enjoy both of that. So I thought overall live experience, very good.
Good. I'm glad. I know that, a stadium event can only do so much, but the vibe is good. It's good when you can watch the actual just reactions and enjoy it based on that. Jeremy, what's your Cage Match username?
I don't use, I've said this plenty of times. One, I don't have a cage match username. I use cage match probably more than 99% of the online audience because any article I write, I'm probably looking up a cage match of like, have they wrestled? When was the last time they wrestled? Like, I'm on cage match all day, but I use it as a database of what happened when, not I'm going to rate this match or this event because I don't care about these ratings. I can't tell you any of these ratings. I don't know what a certain wrestler rating is. I don't know what a certain show rating is. No idea. I laugh when I hear of like, oh, this person has a higher rating than this person. Like, okay, so what? I think Roman Reigns should be the highest rated person on there. If he's not, the whole system's broken.
Boris asked the same question to me. My username is wrestling is dumb 6969 LOL.
Wow. People got mad at me, by the way, Joel, when I suggested that AEW should start their pay-per-views at 7.
Again?
At 11.
Again, you did. I saw that you did this. And by the way, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Well, this is the first time. This is the first time I've suggested this. People got mad at me last time because I talked about.
It's not though. I mean, on this show, you and I have done this so many times where we said start your shows at 7 and we'll be so much happier.
Yeah, you don't have to change anything. Do 15 matches, do a 4-hour event, just start it at 7 and end it at 11. And then people are like, oh, what do you do about the pre-show? That cuts into the pre-show. You push that back an hour as well. I don't give a fuck when you start the pre-show. Start the pre-show at 12 for all I care. Fill it how you want. You want to throw random matches on there. You want to do big interviews. You want to do pre-show kind of coverage at the desk. You want to show best of. I don't care what you do during the pre-show. All I want is the pay-per-view to start at 7 and end at 11. And then people, I see you, Louie. People are like, oh, what does this mean for the Central Time Zone and the West Coast Time Zone?
That means things start early, an hour early.
It's the weekend. Ain't like you gotta be anywhere. And here's my biggest argument. The biggest sporting event of the year in the United States starts at like 6:20 and is over by 11. Even if it goes to overtime, it's over by 11. Nobody is complaining that, oh, what about the West Coast? The game starts at 3:30 for them. Yeah, you know what? 50 million people still tune in to watch this damn thing. Your little wrestling company will be okay if you start at 7 and end at 11. I promise you. It'll be all right.
I'm fine with starting early. I'm much more happier with ending early. I'm just looking forward to being able to go to bed before midnight. And if they do that in AEW land and they do that in WWE and they do it with TNA, if everyone does that, I'm a fan. I'm happy with it. End at 10:45, end at 10:30. Start your show, go a half hour. I don't care. Just, I think we've gotten to the point where like it's okay to finish your show by 11 p.m. Eastern. And if you do a post show, go an hour, be done by midnight if you need to. I also understand that like you and I are covering or watching this to take notes and do things differently than other people who may be watching for their entertainment. I get it. That's fine. Everybody has a different schedule that they run through. That's the best part about running these shows on a streaming platform too. Here's a good point. SummerSlam started at 7 p.m. I started watching at 7:30 because I was putting my kid down for bed. So I got to the show a half hour late. Guess what I did? I watched the show and I caught up by getting through the commercials and all the grubby shit. I don't need to watch it. For Peacock subscribers, here's this wrestler. I can just move ahead. I can skip it and I can keep watching the show. And then eventually I catch up on time. That's good.
The funniest thing to me when people come after, because I obviously tweet this, so of course they're going to come out, but like when they come after me specifically of like, oh, you just want the show to start earlier, so you're done earlier. You don't actually like wrestling. You just want to be done with stuff sooner. One, yes, I do want stuff to be done sooner. Two, I'm the person least affected by this because the show could start at 3 a.m. and end at 7 a.m. like a New Japan show does. And guess who's up covering it regardless? I'm the person who has to cover this stuff no matter when it starts, no matter when it ends. I'm the last person who is complaining about the show is too long or it starts at a certain time, it ends at a certain time, because it truthfully does not make a difference to me because I'm watching and covering it regardless. So maybe I'm saying this because other people who are maybe more casual fans want these shows to start sooner and end sooner. I'm not affected anyway. Like when I did the thing with the prestige thing of like, oh, what if AEW had 8 matches instead of 15? Would it mean like, would you find them more prestige? I worded it bad, whatever. People took it the wrong way, whatever it was. But the whole thing of like, oh, you just want to work less and cover less matches. Like, no, I got to work the same amount regardless. I don't sleep. I'm working 24/7 anyway. So none of this actually affects me. All right.
That's it. That's put a bow on SummerSlam. We're done. Did you watch Collision? We got 10 minutes before 5 until we do our Raw preview.
I saw some stuff. I can't say I watched the whole show. I will go back. I saw Buddy Matthews was back. I know it was a taped show as well. So, but I saw that he was back. The trio stuff, I like that they're putting some focus on it. All of these teams I don't care about. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. And like everyone knows the House of Black stuff just isn't for me. It's just not. It's going to be tough for me to but like all these teams are just they're heels. And I don't have a rooting interest in any of these teams. I mean, I like Christian the most because he just pops me with the shit he says. Yeah. But he's the most despicable one of all of them. But I like that they're putting some emphasis on that. Like I do like that.
And it feels like they're going to turn House of Black at this point. People seem to really want to cheer them. Spooky black metal nonsense. Everyone's in on it. So that's fine. And then Bang Bang Gang is another one where like they're kind of in the middle. They're trying to turn them just because everyone loves the theme and they love the presentation. Everyone, honestly, it just comes down to everybody loves the Acclaim. No, I know. I'm trying to say Juice Robinson. Everybody loves Juice and his presentation, which again, I get. So yeah, that's it's a weird trios division, but I like that they'll at least have a hardline heel faction in the patriarchy, and then they'll have House of Black most likely going babyface, and then you'll be in the middle with the Bang Bang Gang, and that's okay. So that I do like that. Yeah, the trios division is getting some shine. The ROH trios division is now going to be part of Collision, I guess. We'll see where that goes. But I think my favorite part of the night was the Mariah May Toni Storm interaction. I thought they did really well with that. Mariah May comes out to do commentary.
Yeah, he's about to murder Tony Schiavone.
I loved that. I love that she's doing the whole, can I speak now, Tony? Can I speak, bitch? Can I speak? Loved it. It was so uncomfortable in the best way. They really took advantage of that. I'm really happy they did. And Nigel McGuinness is just like saying little quips off to the side. That was really good. Toni Storm comes out afterwards and goes right after Mariah May. They do a good pull apart brawl. That was really fun stuff. I got to give it to them because that was, again, you and I have talked about how do you do this match or this build, bringing back Toni Storm as early as they did, and I think something like this was a good step in the right direction. So yeah, made me look good. You know, Zeno, I was saying Tony Schiavone died in that moment, and I love that he did. He played it perfectly. I thought that was to me that was the best part of the show. There was good wrestling, but storyline wise, beat wise, that was a really fun and just awkward moment that felt good. I liked it.
And they needed that for this story. We talked a little bit about it after Dynamite, how maybe it's been overshadowed by Britt and MJF, or not Britt and MJF, sorry, Britt and Mercedes, and then putting some heat on that. But they picked back up with Tony and Mariah on Collision. Hopefully that carries over onto Dynamite and they continue to build towards All In.
Yeah. So listen, Collision was a tape show, but the show was fine. If you like some good wrestling, there was plenty of it there. Hologram is now in a tag team once in a while.
Hell so yeah, that rules. Hologram and Mystico.
It was fun. I was just like, oh, it must be Texas.
Put the belts on them.
Here. They could have put it in Arlington Stadium, and Mystico would have sold the place out. It's a good match. Go check it out. There's some stuff building there, which is good. They're doing Deanna versus Thunder Rosa in a Texas bull rope match because they need to do that for the 6th time this match between these two. Love both of those competitors. Big fan of Deanna Purrazzo. She put us on the map. First episode, she was our interview. I'm ready for them to move on. I'm ready for the next chapters for both women. Deanna said it on the show. She was like, I beat you 3 times. What are we doing here?
I'm not she's going to lose. And so
now she's going to lose and we're going to do it again. Anyway, that was Collision. It was a very, very paint by numbers, straight up show, but it was good. A couple of things that were fun. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. That's tonight. It's going to be in Baltimore, CFG Bank Arena. This is a packed show. I mean, Ludwig Kaiser's back. He's going to take on Sheamus. That could be the start of a Sheamus and Gunther feud. It can start to open that door. Maybe. You know, if Kaiser and Gunther are still working together, you can start that. Speaking of Gunther, he's going to appear, have a promo, see where that goes. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, they're set to have appearances on the show as well. Awesome Truth, they're going to take on A-Town Down Under. I don't know.
How dare they? The brand split dead.
DED dead. Is that why Ron Killings was so excited to take that photo with Post Malone? Because A-Town Down got their ass beat by Post Malone on SummerSlam? Is that why? Either way, yeah, crossing the streams again. And New Day are back. They're going to take on AOP. It's going to be Kofi Kingston. He's back. Is AOP going to win? Kind of hope they do.
Probably. It's a fine show. Like, the matches, the Wyatt 6 debut is what is kind of selling all of this. Wyatt 6 against Creeds.
And Dakota Kai versus Sonya Deville is another one that they've announced for tonight.
That's a fun match.
Yeah, but yeah, Wyatt 6 make their debut. Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and Eric Rowan. They're going to team up to take on Chad Gable and the Creeds. Yeah, that's kind of the one that people have their eyes on. Does it get weird? Does it get freaky? How does the match go? This is the first time we're seeing this trio in action together. Both sides, actually, because we haven't seen Gable and the Creeds work together. It's good.
I'm very curious how this is laid out, because Gable and the Creeds aren't somebody you should just run through, theoretically. But the Wyatts aren't exactly a team that should be doing a bunch of selling and stuff. So I'm very interested in how they actually lay this whole thing out. I don't understand why the Wyatts just don't come out in their spooky mask, just murder them and move on. But whatever. I'm not booking this wrestling show where wrestling apparently has to happen for some reason. Dorks in your wrestling.
Enjoy the wrestling, Jeremy.
No.
Well,
the Wyatt 6 debut should be fun. The Punk comments, McIntyre comments, Gunther comments, that'll be good as well. And they set up some stuff coming out of SummerSlam. I assume we'll get some type of Braun, Sammy on the show, see what's next kind of for them. And then Judgment Day is kind of the big thing. I know they haven't announced Priest or Rhea or Dom or Liv or anything, but obviously you got to follow up on all of that and what happens. Dom, by the way, that dude, he turned more heel. Like, he's the first person to like be heel and turn extra heel.
Good on him. How many people can say they've done that? Oh, I mean, Alexa Bliss has done it a handful of times.
Has she?
Yeah, when the Elimination Chamber, remember? She started to do the, I knew it, I knew people suck, and she got more heat put on her. You do the tease. That's what they did. They gave him a little bit. Dom was still booed with Rhea, but like, it was a little bit of cheer because you were with Rhea, and then he just went full on into it. So yeah, it was there, but it's similar but different.
Man, Dom's gonna get just all the heat in the world. You know what he should have? He should have cold chicken nuggets, and he puts them in the middle of the ring, and all the heat absorbs, and his chicken nuggets are warm, and he just starts eating his chicken tenders. Sorry, starts eating his chicken tenders from all the heat that he gets.
You should just bring a bag of cooked chicken tenders to the ring and eat them. Give them to people around the ring.
Well, that'd make him a babyface. People love chicken tenders.
That's true.
He should keep the chicken tenders for himself.
I'm going to go make some chicken tenders for lunch.
He should sit in the ring, CM Punk style, just eat his chicken tenders the whole time. While Liv gives him a massage. Could you like get more heelish than that? You're sitting in the ring eating chicken tenders while this beautiful woman is giving you a massage.
You're pitching the PG version of the live sex celebration.
Basically.
Good for you. I like it. We're back. We do this, by the way, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays over on our sister channel, Fightful Overbooked. If you haven't already, subscribe to that channel while you're subscribing here to youtube.com/Fightful. And of course, Fightful select the best $5 in the business. There's going to be some good news dropping this week. I can tell you right now. Looking forward to that. Yeah, that's right. I got a scoop while we were on the air, baby. So we'll be talking about that.
Impact related?
It actually is TNA related.
I know what it is then.
Yeah, so there you go. Hey, and if you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video. And we already talked about subscribing. Jeremy, is there anything you want to plug before we get on out of here?
No.
Okay. Well, we're back on Wednesday back on Fightful Overbooked. Check us out there. Did I read? I did read. From a super chat. We did. The one about
your bacon shrimp and how you should just bring it to the show with you tonight.
Yes. Oh yeah, bring it to the show. Go enjoy it. Just be like Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy. Give him one of those because it's not me. I'm definitely not Joe Gacy. Give me the shrimp. Give me the shrimp. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one.